On our anniversary, my husband gave me a beautiful necklace and said, "A symbol of my love." Later that night, he fell asleep, and I noticed a small engraving on the clasp. It said, "To my forever love, Emily." My name isn't Emily. Heart racing, I searched his phone and found dozens of messages, and hotel bookings. The next morning, I wore the necklace and said, "Emily loved it." He choked on his coffee. What? I smirked. I called her. She knows everything. His face went pale as the front door swung open. So, my 42 female husband Mark, 44 male, and I have been married for 15 years. We live just outside Charleston, South Carolina. He works in logistics, I do part-time office admin and take care of most things at home. We have 2 teenage kids. Pretty normal, boring life. At least, I thought it was. Our anniversary was last Saturday. 15 years. That's not small. I planned a quiet evening. Dinner at our favorite Italian spot in downtown Charleston, the same place we went for our first anniversary. I was hoping maybe we'd reconnect a bit. Things had felt distant lately, but I thought maybe it was just midlife stress. Dinner was fine. Nothing special, honestly. But at the end of it, he surprised me. He handed me a little velvet box. Said it was a symbol of his love. I opened it and inside was a beautiful gold necklace, simple, delicate, expensive looking. Heart-shaped pendant. I was genuinely touched. I even teared up a little. I told him thank you, leaned across the table, kissed him. He smiled like nothing was wrong. We got home, had a glass of wine, watched some dumb Netflix movie, and then he passed out on the couch. Typical. I went upstairs, getting ready for bed, and I took the necklace off. I'm weird about sleeping in jewelry. I was about to put it in my jewelry box when I noticed something. The clasp had something engraved on it. I brought it closer to the lamp. It said, "To my forever love, Emily." I just froze. I stared at it for a long time. My name is not Emily. Not even close. I don't go by a middle name. There's no inside joke. No Emily in my life, ever. I sat on the edge of the bed and felt like the air left the room. It didn't take long for the shock to turn into suspicion. I've had my doubts before, I'll admit that. Late nights. A few times he was unreachable. Stories that didn't add up. But nothing ever concrete. This was a start. So I went back downstairs. He was snoring, dead to the world. I grabbed his phone from the armrest. He still uses our wedding date as the passcode. I almost laughed at the irony. I opened up his messages and searched the name Emily. And there it was. Dozens of messages. Not just texts. Pictures. Voice memos. Calls. A whole *****ing relationship. The first message I saw said, "I miss your arms already. Counting the days till next weekend." Another. "Think she liked the necklace? Told you she wouldn't notice, lol." I sat there, scrolling through months and months of this crap. I saw hotel bookings. Confirmations for flower deliveries. Even a reservation at the same restaurant we were just at, but a week earlier. They had their own anniversary dinner. There were dates going back at least 7 months. He told her he was separated. He told her I was cold, distant, controlling, all lies. They called each other babe and love. They had pet names. She didn't even know about me. I was shaking so bad I had to put the phone down. I emailed every screenshot to myself, then put the phone back exactly how it was. Then I put the necklace back on. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling in the dark, just waiting for morning. When the sun came up, I went downstairs like nothing happened. I made breakfast. Pancakes, bacon, coffee, his usual. I even played soft jazz on the Bluetooth speaker. Calm as hell. He came in, groggy, kissed my cheek. Sat down at the table, yawned, poured coffee. I sat down across from him. Wore the necklace right in his line of sight. Then I said it, Emily loved it. He froze. His cup was midair. I swear he stopped breathing. He blinked. What? I looked at him, real calm. I called her. She knows everything. He dropped the cup. It didn't break, but coffee splashed everywhere. His face turned ghost white. He stood up, trying to say something, but I wasn't listening anymore. Because right then, the front door opened. And guess who was standing there? Yep. Emily. She was crying, holding her phone. She looked younger than me, probably mid-30s. Pretty. Dressed like she just got out of bed and drove here in a panic. Mark's face twisted in a way I've never seen before. His mouth opened and closed like a fish. I turned to Emily and said, "Hi. I'm the wife." She nodded. Her lip quivered. "He told me you were divorced." I swear I didn't know. Mark tried to get between us, hands up, saying wait, wait, wait. I looked right at him. You. Sit down. Shut up. I turned back to her. Do you want coffee? She actually nodded. We sat. Mark stood frozen in the kitchen like he was deciding whether to run or lie. Or both. Emily and I talked. Right in front of him. She told me how they met. Some dumb conference in Atlanta. She was staying at a hotel for work. He hit on her at the bar. Told her he was recently separated, not ready to date seriously but open to something casual. Said he had 2 teenagers, an ex-wife who was still clinging to him. She believed him. She cried when she realized it was all lies. And I believed her. And while we sat there, piecing together the timelines, the dates, the lies, Mark just stood there. Silent. His hands shaking. His mouth twitching. And neither of us had finished with him yet. So there we were. Me, the wife. Emily, the girlfriend. Mark, the liar. It was quiet in the kitchen except for the sound of the fridge humming and Emily softly crying into a napkin I handed her. Mark still hadn't sat down. He kept pacing like a caged animal, glancing at both of us like he couldn't believe what was happening. I guess narcissists don't handle being caught very well. Emily finally looked at him and said, "Why would you do this? You lied about everything." He didn't answer. I asked again, "Mark, why does my anniversary necklace say Emily's name on it?" He mumbled, I didn't mean for you to see that. You engraved another woman's name into a necklace you gave your wife. That's not an accident. That's just stupid." His jaw clenched. "I didn't think you'd look that close." And that right there? That sentence? It told me everything I needed to know. He never thought I'd look too close at anything. Never thought I'd question him. Never thought I'd matter enough to notice. He thought he was so smart. Emily got up suddenly and walked toward him. She slapped him. Not hard, not dramatic. Just one sharp, flat hit across the cheek. He didn't flinch. Maybe he thought he deserved it. She turned to me and said, "I'm sorry." "If I had known, I believe you," I said. "He's the one who built this lie. You were just living in it." She nodded and left. No drama. No screaming. Just walked out the front door like she'd just escaped a burning building. And then it was just me and him. He sat down finally, rubbing his face like it might all go away if he pushed hard enough. I messed up. I didn't respond. I just stared at him. You weren't there. For a long time. You've been distant. I almost laughed. You're seriously going to sit there and blame me? I'm not blaming you, he said, but it wasn't perfect. You know that. You made it imperfect. You cheated. You created a whole other life. I just needed someone to talk to. She listened to me. Oh, I'm sorry. I was busy raising your children and working and keeping this house going while you were texting your forever love and booking hotel rooms. He put his head in his hands. I can't fix this, can I? I shook my head slowly. I don't know. But I'm done carrying your guilt. It's all yours now. And then my phone buzzed. It was a message. From a number I didn't recognize. It said, "So I guess you know everything now." I stared at the screen. Mark looked up, noticed my face. What is it? Who's A? I asked. His eyes widened. Then they darted down. He swallowed hard. Oh my God. Alicia? I said slowly. That name wasn't in the messages. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't searched for it. He nodded, slowly. It was before Emily. Just a couple of months. It wasn't serious. I stood up, heart racing again. You had 2 affairs? He looked at me, quiet. Not denying it. Not defending it. Just sat there like a kid who got caught stealing from a candy store. A grown man, suddenly 5 years old. I walked to the kitchen counter and poured the coffee into the sink. My hands were shaking. You have no idea what you've done, I said. Then he said something that made everything worse. There might be more messages, but I deleted them. I turned around. So there were more? I don't remember. It was just texting. Texting? Emotional cheating? Sexting? What kind of texting, Mark? I don't know. It was just flirting. It didn't mean anything. That line. That damn line. It didn't mean anything. I leaned over the counter. It meant something to me. He looked down again. Silence fell in the house. The kind that builds up right before everything breaks. Then, from upstairs, I heard footsteps. Our daughter was awake. She was supposed to be at her friend's for the night, but apparently she came home late. We hadn't noticed. She stood on the stairs in her pajamas. Mom? What's going on? Mark's face drained again. I turned around and tried to smile, but it didn't reach my eyes. Nothing, sweetie. Go back to bed. She hesitated. I heard yelling. And someone crying. I walked over and kissed her forehead. It's grown-up stuff. We'll talk later. Promise. She went back upstairs. I turned to Mark. You brought this mess into our home. You didn't just cheat on me. You broke this whole family. He didn't say anything. And then my phone buzzed again. It was another message. From A. You think Emily was the only one? You should really talk to Heather. My stomach dropped. The screen blurred from the tears I didn't even know were coming. I looked at him. How many? He shook his head slowly, whispering, I don't know. He said, I don't know. That's the worst part. Not the cheating. Not the lies. Not even the necklace. It's that he couldn't even remember how many women he messed around with. Like they didn't even register. Like they were just background noise. My legs gave out and I sat on the stairs. For the first time, I felt small in my own home. Mark stood in the middle of the living room, staring at the ground like it might swallow him whole. I whispered, you had a whole second life. And you can't even tell me the truth now? He finally looked at me. There were others. But nothing lasted. Just texting. Maybe once or twice we met up. I laughed bitterly. So you had a rotation? He didn't respond. I got up and walked toward him. How many women have been in our bed? He opened his mouth, then closed it again. Then said, just Emily. Once. That somehow made it worse. Like bringing her into our bedroom was some kind of next-level betrayal. Like that space, the space where we laughed, cried, made our kids, argued about bills, everything, had been dirted. And then my phone buzzed again. Third message. From A. Heather works at the gym. She knows your husband better than you do. I froze. Mark looked like someone drained the blood from his face. The gym? I asked. He looked up, silent. I used to joke about how often he went to that damn gym. You love the treadmill more than me, I'd tease. It wasn't the treadmill. I opened Facebook. I remembered the name Heather. Blonde, toned, always commenting on gym posts. I'd seen her before in passing, smiling in tight leggings, always tagging the same gym Mark went to. I clicked her profile. Mutual friends. 1. Mark. I messaged her. Just one line, "Hey Heather. This is Mark's wife." I didn't expect her to reply right away. But she did. Hi. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you existed. He told me he was divorced. Same lie. Different name. I asked, how long? We were on and off for almost a year. He ghosted me last month. I didn't know about Emily. Or anyone else. A year. While we were going to our son's football games. While we hosted Thanksgiving dinner. While I drove his mom to her doctor appointments. I wanted to throw something. Break something. Instead, I asked her to call me. She did. Her voice was shaking. She was crying, too. We compared stories. She knew things about Mark that I didn't even know. Things I didn't want to know. She told me he used a second phone. One he kept at work. He told her I was crazy and abusive. Said I took the kids and ran years ago. Said he was lonely. Said he was healing. Heather said she even met his friend Emily once, briefly, at the gym. I hung up the phone and sat there in silence. My husband wasn't just a cheater. He was a serial manipulator. Then a memory hit me. One I hadn't thought about in years. There was a time when we were first married that Mark had a weird moment. He got a call late at night, walked outside to take it, and when I asked who it was, he said, "Just work." He came back inside looking pale. Said his job was stressful. I let it go. Now I wonder, was this always him? Has this man been someone else all along? Then another twist I didn't see coming. Later that afternoon, while he was outside trying to clear his head, I got a call from a number I didn't know. It wasn't Heather. It was another woman. Her name was Tessa. She found my number through a group chat she had with Mark and friends. She had a suspicion after seeing a picture someone posted of our family. Yes, he was still posting about us publicly. I guess in his mind, nobody ever checked anything that didn't affect them. She asked, "Are you still married to Mark H?" I said yes. She cried. Tessa was from Atlanta. He met her on a work trip. They'd been talking for 2 years. She had no idea he was married. She even said, he told me he couldn't have kids. That he never wanted them. I almost dropped the phone. I stared at our fridge. Covered in photos. Baby pictures. School awards. Report cards. Drawings. Our entire life. And this man told someone he had no kids. I hung up the phone. I walked outside. He was standing in the backyard, staring at nothing. I said, "Tessa from Atlanta says hi." He turned slowly, blinking. I don't even know who that is. I narrowed my eyes. You've hit the point where you don't know who you've cheated with? He just stood there. Like a statue. And that's when it happened. Our son opened the back door. "Mom? Is everything okay?" I turned around and saw his face. He knew something was wrong. He's only 13, but he's smart. And I knew, from that second on, I couldn't keep this from them forever. Mark didn't move. Didn't go to him. Didn't speak. Just stood there while his son looked at him with more questions than I could ever answer. Our son just stood there, barefoot, hair messy from sleep. He looked between me and his dad. The air was heavy, like the moments before a tornado. I turned to Mark and said one word, soft but sharp, go. He didn't move. Leave, Mark. Now. He finally opened his mouth. Where am I supposed to go? Maybe one of your girlfriends will let you crash. Try Tessa. Or Heather. Or Emily. His face twisted, like he was about to argue, but I wasn't doing this anymore. My son asked, what's going on? Mark looked at him and said, it's complicated, buddy. I turned around so fast my voice cracked. Don't you dare talk to him like that. Don't feed him that buddy crap when you were cheating on all of us. He flinched like I slapped him. And then came the twist I didn't expect. My daughter, remember, she was upstairs the morning this started, she came outside. She wasn't crying. She wasn't confused. She was holding his second phone. Mom, she said quietly, I found this under the bathroom sink. I think he's been hiding it there. My hand flew to my mouth. Mark lunged toward her. Give me that. She backed up fast, holding it out to me. No. Mom gets it. I snatched it from her and opened it. No lock. Like he never thought we'd ever find it. What I saw. So much worse. Not just Emily, Heather, Tessa. There were names I didn't recognize. Pictures. Videos. Dates. Notes in his calendar marked with hearts. Saved contact names with emojis, Ashley Cherries, Kristen Kissmark, Carla Poprince. I looked at him. You're sick. He held up his hands like that made him innocent. I have a problem. You have a choice. And you chose this. Over and over again. Now both kids were crying. My daughter had sunk down on the steps, hugging her knees. My son was staring at his dad like he'd just learned monsters were real. And then it happened. Mark snapped. You think I'm the only one who's unhappy? You stopped caring years ago. You didn't want to have fun anymore. You made everything about the kids. About chores. About bills. I screamed, because someone had to. You were off playing fantasy boyfriend while I kept this damn family alive. The neighbors were out now. The couple from 2 houses down, the older woman who always jogs in the mornings, even Mrs. Dillard across the street. Everyone just watching. Mark didn't care. You made me feel like a ghost in my own home. I took one step toward him and hissed, no. You made yourself a ghost the second you lied to me. The second you touched another woman and smiled like nothing was wrong. He stood there breathing hard, chest rising and falling, like he was about to fall apart or fight back. Instead, he muttered, maybe I should just go. I said nothing. My daughter did. Good. That broke him. His face crumpled. But he didn't fight anymore. He walked inside, packed a bag, and left. Just like that. He didn't even try to hug them goodbye. That night, the house was quiet. Too quiet. My son didn't speak much. He just stared at his phone in bed, earbuds in. My daughter curled up next to me on the couch, holding my hand like she was 5 again. We watched dumb reality TV on mute. No one laughed. The next morning, my sister came by. She made coffee and sat with me on the porch. She said, I'd always had a weird feeling about him. I said, why didn't you tell me? She looked sad. Because you loved him. And I didn't want to be wrong. The pain in that? It's the kind that settles in your bones. That week, Mark tried calling. Texting. Voicemails full of I miss the kids, and I'm sorry, and can we talk? I didn't answer. Not right away. The kids didn't want to see him. And honestly, neither did I. He finally asked to come pick up some things when we weren't home. I agreed. I left a box of his clothes and the engraved necklace on the porch. I never saw him again in person after that. It's been 3 months. The divorce is in motion. He tried to delay it, but my lawyer is fast and sharp. The kids are in therapy. I'm in therapy. The house is quieter, but calmer. Sometimes, at night, I still wear the necklace. Not because it means anything now, but because it reminds me how blind I was. How deep betrayal can go before you even notice you're bleeding. Friends have come forward with their own stories. Turns out, a few people had seen Mark out in places he shouldn't have been. Restaurants, bars, once even a concert with some woman. They never said anything. Didn't want to get involved. I don't blame them. We all want to believe what's easy. That things are fine. That good people stay loyal. That love is enough. But sometimes, people are just liars. Now, I wake up every morning and I say the same thing to myself, you were enough. He just wasn't. And maybe that's all I needed to know.